So here's why oil prices are striking now. For some context, I studied business reporting at NYU in conjunction with Stern and the J School. Right now, Ukraine's attack on Russia's refineries are squeezing its supply, driving crude oil futures up. US stockpiles are dropping, and here's why that matters and what that means for the future. So for some context, in terms of Russia's oil geography, most of their oil reserves are in western Siberia, near the Volga's Urals region. Most Russian oil exports move through the Black Sea and regions like Primorsk. Ukraine's drones are actually targeting a lot of refineries in western Russia and not wells or crude export terminals, and the aim is to deplete their ability to refine crude into diesel and gasoline. And that means Russia has less diesel and gasoline, which is affecting the global market. And even if crude hasn't fallen that much, the capacity of refined products is tighter, and so that pushes the prices up. And US investors are also trying to stockpile on crude oil, so you could see that's why the prices are rising. And this goes back to the simple econ fact that if there's lower inventories, that usually signals that the demand is ahead of the supply, and so the traders are going to be seeing tighter conditions as the war goes on. And so what we're going to be seeing in the future markets is that oil contracts for the next few months are going to be trading higher. And so that tells us, for the traders, there's going to be a slight risk premium, and this is going to be due to geopolitics, shipping disruptions, obviously supply chains disruptions, and buyers are going to be willing to pay a little bit more in order to stockpile for the future. So according to Forbes and Reuters, the FT reports that 16 of Russia's 30 refineries has been struck since August, and that has reduced more than 1 million barrels per day in terms of refining capacity, but the crude oil output and certain exports may not be equally hit. And that goes back to the point where Ukraine was actually targeting the refineries instead of their raw exports. So this leads to the question, if Ukraine keeps on targeting for the Russian refineries instead of the crude wells, does Russia have a plan to reroute its refinery strategies? Is there going to be allies that step in to possibly help with the refining of the actual crude exports? And how does that ripple into the war strategy and investor sentiment in the United States? You can already see that there's an increase in stockpiling, and so the crude futures are going to pile up, but I think the investor sentiment on Russia and Ukraine is also going to change, especially with Trump's latest remarks about Ukraine getting all of its land back, and his, I guess, like change of mind in terms of his relationship with Russia.